What's up people, Jason here, and I'm about a month out from my fall 2022 semester, which means it's time not just for me to start dusting off that school routine and making sure I have all the gear I need, but it's that time for a lot of you out there as well. So because it's that time of the year again, today we're doing a budget back to school tech roundup of competitively priced items that are also must-haves for every student. Starting with the most important back to school tech item, a laptop, I have some really dope budget options ranging from barely over $200 all the way up to $600. So first we have this crazy deal on a 14-inch 11th gen i3 powered laptop from HP. That very solid chip is paired with an okay 4 gigs of RAM, a 128GB SSD, a full HD display, and a pretty modern design. This is really all you'd need for day-to-day tasks, and this impressively low price of $220 is made possible by buying renewed. If you're unfamiliar with Amazon terminology, renewed means refurbished, and the items are in like-new condition, but at appreciable price drops. Continuing on, we have another similar renewed option from Acer, powered by the same 11th gen i3 chip plus 4 gigs of RAM, and with the same 128GB SSD. These two are really the same laptop in a different form factor, and so the latter is just the sleeker option with a bigger 15.6-inch screen. All the products I mentioned in this video will be linked down below in the description for you to hop onto the ones you're interested in easily, and also support the channel at no extra cost to you. Now, there are of course those that need more out of a laptop, so let's talk about my mid-range picks, both of which feature AMD chips. First, there's this Ryzen 5 powered HP laptop. The listing says this chipset will beat the 10th gen i7, it's got 8 gigs of RAM, a full HD IPS display, and this machine undoubtedly will provide good performance for more demanding tasks than prior options like video editing or using CAD software. And stepping up $100 from there, there's the Lenovo Flex 5, which is powered by the same Ryzen chip, but gets you twice the RAM, plus the most modern design of all, a bendable laptop to tablet monstrosity. So yeah, there's 4 options for laptops that I think will appeal to the majority of you budget shoppers out there. Next, I'm going to reveal one of my favorite budget tech hacks, and that is shopping for used stuff on eBay. Specifically for this section of the video, I'm showing off some crazy price drops on flagship phones, and if you're not afraid of a few scratches or older models, this is a great way to pick up smartphones. So, the iPhone 12 and 12 mini. They're one generation back from the current iPhone, and if you want to cut down drastically on the $700 and $600 Apple sells them for these days, look at these listings. $460 for a used iPhone 12, $370 for a used iPhone 12 mini, and what's good about a lot of listings like these ones is they're from sellers with mini units. Both of these pages have sold over 100 phones, and this seller has very high ratings. And this technique works with other year-old flagship phones. Here's the Galaxy S21 at only $370. All these listings are linked in the description below. Once again, I found the best deals I could on last year's flagships from the major smartphone brands, but also feel free to try your luck with older smartphones, varying conditions, or different models. Okay, moving on, let's talk about furniture to put your tech on. I recently did a YouTube short on the best cheap IKEA items, so definitely check that out. I feature a $50 desk, a $15 shelf, a $20 lamp, and more in 60 seconds in that video. Knowing the cheapest yet still good looking IKEA items is honestly something I pride myself in, and so with that being said, I'm going to add some more pics to this video right here of cheap yet good looking IKEA items. So there's the Lack shelves that start at $8 for a small square shelf and go up in size and price from there. I have 2 units in my room and I really quite like them. Vegca fake plants start at $6 these days, and you already know I own a lot and recommend these for that no maintenance required plant look. The Begebo and Finby bookcases at $30 and $40 respectively have a good amount of storage and are built quite minimally. I actually have the Finby coming in soon for a desk setup I'm working on. The Hampton rug is something I put under my loft bed and set me back only 35 bucks. The Maslanda picture ledge is a cheap shelf alternative at only $13, and the Naravik metal nightstand looks really great for $16. Alright, that was a lot of items pretty fast, so let's take a break by looking at a Pretty Lights compilation that's a preview of the smart bulbs we're talking about next. So yeah, these smart light bulbs are something I've had for years. They're from Wixan, and they're definitely something I recommend to people who want to spice up their room with a little pop of color. I like them so much I made an entire updated review of them, so definitely check that out for all the details on these bulbs that cost $7 a piece. Now let's transition to talking about Workspace Items, starting with a monitor. This one's from Scepter, a pretty well-known brand, and it's a 4K IPS 27-inch monitor. It's crazy to think how much 4K monitors have dropped in price over the past few years, and these days this is about as cheap as you can pick them up. It's 70 Hz, so nothing crazy in the refresh rate department, but it's big with a good resolution and excellent price. Now, this monitor does have built-in speakers, but chances are they're not amazing, so I have two recommendations when it comes to desktop speakers. The first is the Creative Pebble 2, followed by the PreSonus Eris 3.5. These speakers sit at two different prices, $18 and $100, and naturally, they're for different people. But I've had both of these, used both of them quite a bit, and I can vouch for their quality in their respective usage cases. The Pebble 2s are for your average person watching YouTube, movies, and listening to music. They're really good for that at the price, and as a bonus, look phenomenal in my opinion. And as for the Eris 3.5s, these are maybe the most popular pair of budget studio monitors of all time. If you're doing more pro stuff like video editing, mixing music, or just want to hear audio more accurately, these are a phenomenal option. I picked mine up at the beginning of the summer, and going from the Creative Pebble 2 to the PreSonus Eris 5, I've really enjoyed the transition from good consumer audio to good creator audio. Next, in the world of tablets, let's talk about my trusty iPad Air 3. Now, I think the Air line is the iPad most people should get, as it's better than the plain iPad, but also not over the top like the Pros, and I have the 2019 iPad Air 3. Now, if you've been around my channel for a while, you know I've extensively covered iPads. I talked about the Air 3 versus 4 versus 5, and also reviewed my own 3 for use these days in 2022. But to sum that all up for this back-to-school tech guide, I'd say get the Air 3 for the best value. It's dropped a lot in price to around $300, but hasn't dropped proportionally in usefulness, especially if you get an Apple Pencil to go with it. I love my Apple Pencil. But if you want to future-proof and get the newest design language and all the power you'd probably ever need, get the 2020 iPad Air 4 for $500. I don't recommend getting the 2022 because it's more expensive, but to an extent that's not proportional to the upgrades it comes with. If you're on the market for a budget USB mic, you're in luck, as I just did a YouTube short, kinda in the same format as the best IKEA items, or the best cheap IKEA items, except I went by price point, all the way from $30 to $300, my best pick at every price point in between that range. Check out that video, or just the pics from that video, in the description below. And rounding things out, here's some small miscellaneous stuff for maybe if you set out with a budget, already got the substantial stuff and need some small things to fill in the gap, but it'll still be nice and make your day-to-day life easier. That's what this part's about. First, this salt lamp basket is $14 on Amazon. I love salt lamps, as you know, but I've never featured a basket type on my channel, so here's that. I got this $17 6-port charging station a bit ago, and it is legitimately a lifesaver, so definitely recommend getting it to keep all your cables / potential rat's nests confined to one area. I bought this $43 coffee maker half a year ago, and it was the best deal I could find on a programmable delayed brew machine. I'd be lying if I said these days I use it to schedule coffee for the next morning, but if one of y'all would like that function, check this out. Here's a great option for smart plugs that work with the same app as the smart bulbs I talked about earlier. I very much recommend making all the things smart, even in a dorm room, so keep this 4-pack in mind if you think that make your life easier. The Google Nest Mini is one of my favorite items I've picked up in the last year due to how convenient it is to control smart home items, answer my most random questions, and use as a decent backup speaker. And finally, the old reliable Kodak FunSaver is good because it'll help you capture memories with friends when you leave all your dorm room tech behind and go out and have fun out and about as you should. This one is probably carried by your local grocery store though, so there's probably no need to buy it online. Anyway, that's been my 2022 Jason R. Back to School Tech Guide. I wish you the best semester possible and the most convenient, smoothest, easy to use technology experience as you get through the semester. Click that subscribe button down below if you enjoyed this and want to see more stuff like it, and I'll see you next time.